Well, the sharpest bettors know that you're going to be passing on almost every game in the NFL. These are the games we're about to give you are the games you should pass on because the line between the two sides is razor thin. But let's identify the sharp side with Frank Stampfl of Sports Grid, and we'll start things off with the Rams, who are giving 3 against the Falcons. The Rams Super Bowl line has actually been slashed in half with the signing of Jalen Ramsey. How big of an impact is he going to have on this roster?
I think he's going to have a huge impact, specifically in this first game going up against the Atlanta Falcons, who have one of the premier wide receivers in the NFL in Julio Jones. The problem right now relies on the offensive side of the football when it comes to the Los Angeles Rams. It had just 157 total yards of offense, and Jared Goff was limited to 78 passing yards. That's why this game would be a pass for me, but if I had to choose a side based on Jalen Ramsey being there, I would lean with the Los Angeles Rams bouncing back.
You know, especially given the fact that they got Ramsey at just the right time, because no quarterback throws the ball more than Matt Ryan.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, the problem right now with the Rams lies on the offensive side and their offensive line. But, you know, if they can stand up here and going up against that Falcons defense, just allowing so many points right now, so many, you know, yards and catches to wide receivers.
It's a get-right game for the Rams.
It should be a get-right game for the Rams. That's why if I had to put something on it, it would be with the Rams.
All right, the Cardinals getting 3 at the Giants. Couple of confusing teams here because they both show flashes, but they don't show consistency. Where do you think that the sharps would lie on this one?
Personally, I would go with the Arizona Cardinals. Kyler Murray coming off the best game of his career, 340 yards and 3 passing touchdowns. They get Patrick Peterson back as well. So kind of similar situation to the Los Angeles Rams. You add an all-pro cornerback back to your team, it's obviously going to help. I mean, the Cardinals have had a lot of issues on the defensive side of the football so far this season, but for the Giants, getting back Saquon Barkley and getting Evan Engram back is obviously going to help them as well. That's why normally this game too close to call, but if I had to choose one, I would go with Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. I think this offense is about to take off.
All right, how about the other New York teams? We get to the biggest home dog of the week, the Jets getting 10 points against the Patriots. New England didn't cover the first meeting, and that was with Luke Falk at quarterback for the Jets. Now Sam Darnold is back for the Jets. There should be more money flowing in on the Jets. Is that where the sharps are kind of laying?
Yeah, so far money is coming in on the New York Jets. I think that's just too many points to be getting at home. I understand how well this Patriots defense has played so far this season, but if you look at the teams they faced, they haven't faced the stiffest competition either. So Sam Darnold coming off a great game, threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first game back with the team. Obviously, you know, I think that they can be competitive in this game. I think the spread is a little bit too much. Expected to get C.J. Mosley back as well. Doesn't hurt, Steve.
I know, well, that definitely doesn't hurt, but here are the Jets going from the #1 offense in the NFL against Dallas now to the #1 defense in the NFL with the Patriots. But you're right, the fact that C.J. Mosley is going to be returning to that Jets defense, you can just sense I guess the confidence in the Jets locker room this week, and you have to feel like this is one game that they are feeling. Look, every year, there's a crazy week where teams that shouldn't win somehow find a way to win. An undefeated Patriots team going up against a Jets team that only has 1 win, it seems like it should be a lock to the Patriots. But crazy things happen in the NFL for a reason, right?
Yeah, they absolutely do, Steve. But, you know, look, the sharps, again, the money is coming in on the New York Jets, so they see something as well. I think the fact that Sam Darnold is back obviously makes a huge difference for this team. And just the competition that the Patriots have faced, again, they haven't faced, while the defense has been great, they're not going up against the stiffest competition. And I think, you know, Sam Darnold being back is obviously a huge boost for this Jets offense.
All right, the Saints are getting 3.5 in Chicago. Teddy Bridgewater is not only 4-0 as a starter, he's also 4-0 against the spread. Does that give you a little bit of confidence, I guess?
Yeah, let's take it one step further. Teddy Bridgewater in his NFL career, 27-7 against the spread in his career. Just hasn't been given any respect by the sports books, but obviously does enough to cover the spread and a lot of times win games. You know, since he's taken over for the New Orleans Saints, you know, they've done just enough to be able to win these games. The defense is stepping up. The past couple of weeks, Marshawn Lattimore is looking like that all-pro cornerback that we know that he is. Alvin Kamara a little bit banged up right now, but ultimately, if I had to choose a side here, I would lean with the New Orleans Saints, but a lot of it has to do with, you know, Mitchell Trubisky hasn't looked right. He's still coming back off that shoulder injury. It looks like he's going to be good to go, and this Bears defense is very good, but ultimately, I think if we get a close game, I'm leaning with the New Orleans Saints.
Most of the time, the Sharps ride the hot hand, and right now, you can't go against Teddy Bridgewater with what he's doing out there. All right, Seattle giving 3.5 at home against the Ravens. I just don't understand. Can you believe Seattle has a defense that is bottom 10 in the NFL, and the Ravens defense isn't much better? Can you imagine we're watching a Ravens-Seahawks game, and they're two bad defenses? I just don't get it.
Yeah, it's a crazy time here, Steve, and this could be the game of the week. It should be, especially from a fantasy football perspective. You have Russell Wilson going up against Lamar Jackson. It's going to be a really, really fun game to watch. Personally, I just don't want to get in front of Russell Wilson right now, the way that he's playing. I mean, he is the MVP candidate as of right now, completing 72% of his passes, 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I think Lamar Jackson will have a big game as well, but ultimately, I think that home field advantage for the Seahawks is going to be the difference maker for a young quarterback like Lamar Jackson coming in.
Does it concern you, though, because Lamar Jackson has the ability to, take a 5-yard run and turn it into a 50-yard run? I mean, they have big players on that Ravens offense, and if Seattle's defense isn't what it should be, doesn't it seem like the chunk plays could be coming on the Ravens side of the ball?
Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up. I mean, both of these teams are top 5 in the NFL in explosive plays. So, if the Ravens do that, it's obvious that the Seattle Seahawks are going to be able to bounce back and respond to that as well, especially playing at home. They have a big play receiver in Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. The Ravens just traded for Marcus Peters, who has been known to, he can make the play, he can make, the flashy play at times, but also known for giving up big plays. I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to be too much for Lamar Jackson in Seattle.
All right. Philly getting 3 in Dallas. Are the Cowboys due for a bounce back after 3 straight losses, or is this just the beginning of a snowball effect for them?
You would think so, because they play so well at home, especially from an ATS perspective. They cover, a large majority of their games at home, and they're only getting the home 3. So what the books are telling us is that they think that these teams are pretty even. The problem is right now for the Dallas Cowboys, they're really beat up. I understand the Eagles secondary is banged up as well, but the Cowboys offense goes as far as their offensive line, and the offensive line is beat up, and the wide receivers are beat up, and I think that they're going to try and run it with Ezekiel Elliott, but the Eagles are allowing under 3 yards per carry to opposing running backs. So if you do stop the run against Ezekiel Elliott and you ask Dak Prescott to make plays with a less than 100% Amari Cooper, if he plays, I don't know that it's going to be enough. If I had to choose a side, I'd take Philly.
All right, and that's why they're the toss-ups, because you have to choose a side sometimes. That is Frank's toss-up plays of the week. Make sure you check out his other segments on his top plays and his leans. For Frank Stampfl of Sports Grid, I'm Steve Overmyer. This is Fanalysis.